Christians get it wrong sometimes. It's not forgive and forget. It's forgive and let go of the anger and the hate and the emotions that are attached to what that person did to you. Forgive and let it go, whether or not they have fully atoned for their actions. Your forgiveness and the releasing of the feelings attached to what happened is what's important. Because if you can't release those emotions, you're holding in that hate, that anger, that upsetness. Like you're holding in all that negativity in your body, not the other way around. The other person who has done something wrong and isn't making it right, well, they're able to move on and do their things that they want to do because they're not holding onto that negative energy. You're holding on to the negative energy for them because of your inability to forgive. It's not forgiving that person, it's forgiving what was done and letting go of the emotions attached to it so that you can heal, because don't you deserve to heal? Now, the false teaching that you're given, especially as a child, is forgive and forget. No. We don't forgive and forget. No. So you can forgive, you can release that emotion attached to it, and you're going to have emotions come back every now and then. You let it come in like a wave. Waves, they come and they go. You just got to let it, feel it, because you're allowed to feel it. And then let it go. Okay? Feel it, let it go. That letting go part allows you to heal, right? But people often misunderstand the forgive part in Christianity, and they expect you to also forget. They think forgiveness is no consequences. My slate is clean. They think forgiveness is I don't have to worry about boundaries. I can come back. Forgiveness is not. You can just everything's forgotten and everyone will forget because they have to forgive, and you can just start over. No, you can still start over, yes, but you still have consequences for the actions. It's not forgive and never have to have consequences for the actions, because that does not the same Bible say an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. God never said you don't have to handle any consequences of your actions because I'll forgive you and you'll have a clean slate. He says I'll forgive you, you'll have a clean slate to move forward with, but you still have to atone for what you have done to those around you. You still have to atone for what you have done. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. It does not mean that you get to have re-entry. You don't just get to have access at your request to anyone's lives that you have hurt, because you have consequences for the same very actions that you gave. That's just a part of life. It is actually a part of the growth on that individual. The person who's done the transgressions, who wants the forgiveness, yes, they can have the forgiveness from people, and yes, those same people can give them options for re-entry, but if they're unwilling to respect the boundaries that are now in place due to their actions, then they have not fully actually atoned for what they have done or taken the accountability of what they have done. They just expect the forgive and forget method. Forgive and forget is not the method that Jesus was teaching when he was here on this earth. He was teaching to forgive and release that energy of upsetness that you feel from everything that has been done to you. Release it out. Forgive what has happened. Release the energy associated with what happened out of your body. Feel it, let it go. But it doesn't mean that that person that did those things to create those emotions in the first place that you had to heal from gets to have re-access to your life when they want to. It doesn't mean that they don't have to have consequences to their actions, that there's not new boundaries in place. Well, since you did this, now you no longer have access to this. No. You cannot expect access granted with a clean slate. A clean slate means you move forward with new and different movements, that you don't repeat the same patterns and behaviors as you once did. But people often forget that because they want to repeat the same patterns and behaviors to the very same people that they have hurt, claiming that they are now a new person. You might be a new person to everybody else that you have met, but you're still the same person to the ones that you're trying to get forgiveness from because you refuse to change your steps forward. And again, repeat the same behavior, expecting that you should too forget everything that has been done to you at the hands of their actions, without them taking ownership, honesty, and accountability for those very actions that they did. You're never going to gain anyone's respect by expecting them to forget what you did and not have to be honest. Not being honest. Literally. You can get so much more respect when you're honest about the things that you've done to people than you will ever get by pretending you never did it, or pretending that it's irrelevant now because so much time has passed, or pretending that you're a new person now that everyone else just needs to see who you are now, pretending that you didn't do what you did, or refusing to look back at what you did because it's something you did in the past and it's not who you are today. You're never going to gain anybody's respect because you're refusing to atone for your actions that you actually specifically did to them. You're refusing to actually own and be honest. And instead, the narrative that you have placed for the years that made you feel better and become this new person in everyone else's eyes would be shattered if you had to take accountability and actually be accepting of the behavior that you once did. So if you're looking for forgiveness from people, you are going to have to atone to your actions. Like, they've probably already forgiven you, but they're going to have boundaries, and there's going to be consequences of your re-arrival or of your conversations with them. You're going to have to be open to the fact that you have to take accountability and handle the exact same weight that you gave other people, and decided to forget and let time forgive for yourself, but you never actually atoned for it yourself. The people that you hurt actually had to already do the healing process, but when you come back and expect forgiveness like that, you don't realize that you've already been forgiven. They've already let go of that emotion, hopefully. Hopefully they've let go of that emotion, but you're not going to get immediate access, and you're not going to get what you want just because you want it, and therefore the cycle repeats. That's not how it works. If you want the respect from people, and it's not really the forgiveness you're looking for, it's the respect, then you have to be honest and stop lying about what you did, who you were, and take atonement for who you were. Because when you say, well, I'm someone new now, you're not anyone new to the person that you hurt and left in the silence while you became a new person to everybody else. And the inability to take accountability for who you were to the same people you were and expect them to just accept the new version of you without ever having any atonement for what you did is just honestly disrespectful. How would you ever gain anyone's respect? By pretending that this new version of you should exist in their world too, because you've ignored what you did long enough that you don't want to have to revisit it. If you didn't actually atone for things or take accountability for things, even though it was a while ago, and you don't want to have to go back to that version of yourself, I'm sorry to tell you, but that version of yourself still exists within yourself because you've never actually taken accountability for those actions, and instead you continue to just bury it, paint a new narrative, and then expect everybody else to follow with the flow. But when you come to someone who knows the full truth, and you don't want to take accountability when they give you the opportunity, and yet you deflect once more, you're not any different to the same people that you once treated the same exact way years ago. You might be different to everybody else, but you're no different than the person who has done the same cycles and patterns and behaviors for years and years and years, because you're not getting your way, because you now have boundaries, you now have consequences, you now have to make things right, and it's hard. That's just part of life. Forgiveness is okay. I've already forgiven so many people, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to come at you if you're not going to be honest when you come back. It doesn't mean I'm going to be super sweet and kind and just so understanding. I'm gonna hold you accountable. It doesn't mean that I'm full of hate and blinded by hate. No, I'm just not blinded by your false accusations. I'm not blinded by you spreading this version of yourself that you've never actually once been. I'm not accepting of a false narrative that was painted to make you feel better. I'm sorry, I'm not here to make you feel better about what you did. I'm here to make it right. And I've always been here to make it right. And just because I have boundaries, and just because there's consequences that I shouldn't have to be the one paying for what you've done, and how it's going to have to look for you to make it right, well, that doesn't mean that I'm hateful. It actually means that I have forgiven you, and I've let go of the emotion. And when you come at me with dishonesty, it's going to take me off. So yeah, I'm going to get mad that you're going to sit there and be disrespectful to me after all these years. Are you seriously going to come at me and be that disrespectful? That's freaking pitiful of you. Disgusting behavior. But I'm going to feel that. I deserve to feel upset about that. But I don't hold on to it. Let it go, let it flow. I'm okay to feel like how I feel with how I gave you the opportunity to own up, and you yet again did what you did. And that's okay. I let it go, I let it flow. God will take care of it just as He does everything for me. But what I'm not going to do is put my head in the sand at the sake of trying to make you feel better about what you did. No, you're going to have to own up to it. My voice is a sword of truth, let me tell you. If you're not ready to actually have to use your sword of truth and be honest about your actual things you did, then don't come at me yet. Because one thing's for certain and two things are for sure. If you come at me with dishonesty, I'm going to expose the truth with light. Doesn't mean I'm hateful. It means I have boundaries.